The wind howled across the empty highway as chrome roared under a burning sun. Diesel fumes, gasoline, and asphalt heat filled the air. The biker swung his Harley into a dusty gas station just outside of Cedar Ridge, the kind of place where time seemed to stand still. He cut the engine, the growl fading into silence, and took off his helmet, revealing a rugged man with storm-gray eyes and a face carved by both miles and mistakes. His name was Colt Brenner, president of the Iron Faith Motorcycle Club, a man who had lived his life with steel in his veins and ghosts in his rearview mirror. But he had no idea that the few minutes he spent at that gas station would change his life, and the lives of dozens of others, forever. Before we go any further, if you believe in kindness, redemption, and second chances, please take a second to like this video, subscribe to Kindness Chronicles, and share it with someone who could use a reminder that good hearts still exist in this world. Colt leaned against his bike, the leather of his jacket creaking as he waited for the tank to fill. He noticed a woman standing by an old sedan on the other side of the pump. Her car looked tired, the kind that had seen more prayers than oil changes. The woman, maybe in her early 30s, was holding the pump handle with one hand and a folded piece of paper in the other. She wore a faded pink t-shirt, her hair pulled back into a messy bun, dark circles etched beneath her eyes. A small child peeked from the back seat, his wide eyes curious and tired all at once. Colt gave a polite nod, the kind bikers do when they don't mean harm. She tried to smile, but her lips trembled. When Colt went inside to pay, she followed him in. He could hear her voice at the counter, soft and apologetic, asking the cashier, "Can I just get $10 on pump 4? Her tone carried that fragile mix of pride and desperation. Colt didn't mean to eavesdrop, but it was impossible not to notice the way she clutched her purse, counting coins and crumpled bills. Something in him stirred, an echo of another time, another face. As Colt walked back out, helmet in hand, he noticed the woman hesitating near his motorcycle. She looked nervous, as if wrestling with herself. Then, with shaking fingers, she slipped a small note beneath his fuel cap and quickly turned away, getting into her car before he could say a word. Curiosity tugged at him. He unfolded the note, and what he read made his throat tighten. "To whoever finds this, I don't know what else to do. My name is Tara, and I'm traveling with my little boy Eli. We lost our home 2 weeks ago after I got laid off. We're trying to get to my sister's place in Montana. I've been sleeping in the car and trying to stretch what little money I have left. If you could spare a few dollars for gas or food, I'd be forever grateful. I'm sorry to ask like this. I just want to keep my son safe." Colt froze. The words hit him like a punch to the chest. He looked up just in time to see the rusty sedan pulling out of the lot, heading north. He could have let it go. People were struggling everywhere. But something in that note, the rawness, the humility, wouldn't let him. He climbed on his Harley, gunned the engine, and followed. A mile up the road, he caught up to her at a red light. Pulling beside her window, he lifted his visor and called out, "Hey, pull over for a sec." She looked startled, unsure, but something in his voice convinced her. She pulled into a diner parking lot. Colt dismounted, holding up the note. "You dropped this," he said softly, her face flushed red with embarrassment. I just didn't know what else to do," she stammered. Colt held up a hand. "It's okay. You did what you had to." He asked her a few questions, where she was headed, how long she'd been on the road. Every answer tore at him. She'd been living in that car with Eli for days, rationing peanut butter sandwiches and sleeping at rest stops. The kid hadn't had a real meal or a proper bed in over a week. Colt reached into his wallet and pulled out a few $100 bills. "This should get you a full tank, a motel room, and some food." Tara's eyes filled instantly. "I can't take that," she whispered. "Yes, you can," Colt said firmly. "You're not taking, you're receiving. Big difference." As he walked back to his bike, he stopped and looked at the horizon, the mountains far away, the hum of the highway fading into the afternoon sun. Something in him said this wasn't enough. He could fill her tank today, sure, but what about tomorrow? The thought dug deep into his conscience. He pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Within an hour, the low rumble of engines began echoing through the valley. One by one, motorcycles arrived. Black leather, chrome glinting, boots kicking gravel. The Iron Faith Club had arrived, their insignia shining proudly on their vests. To outsiders they looked intimidating, a wall of muscle, metal and tattoos. But to Colt, these men were brothers, men who'd all known what it felt like to hit rock bottom. He told them Tara's story, how a mother and her boy were out there, running on fumes and hope. There was silence at first, then nods, one by one. Without a word, each man reached into his pocket, pulling out bills, gift cards, even a few small stuffed animals one of them had bought for his daughter. They piled everything on the diner table until it looked like a treasure chest of humanity. When Colt called Tara back inside, she froze in disbelief. "What is all this?" she asked, her voice trembling. Colt smiled gently. "This," he said, "is what happens when good people refuse to look away." Tara tried to speak, but words failed. She covered her mouth as tears spilled freely. Eli peeked from behind her legs, staring wide-eyed at the mountain of kindness. One biker knelt down, offering him a small toy truck. "Got this for my boy," he said. "Think he'd want you to have it." They paid. For a week at the nearby motel, filled her car with groceries, and even called a local mechanic to check the vehicle for free. The Iron Faith Club didn't just help her that day. They made sure she'd be okay until she reached Montana. Tara couldn't stop crying. She hugged Colt tightly, whispering, "You don't even know us." Colt replied quietly, "Maybe not, but I know what it's like to need a miracle." If this story touched your heart today, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Chronicles, because every act of kindness, no matter how small, can start a chain reaction that changes lives. And before this video ends, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below, do you believe one act of kindness can change a life? Tell us your story. We read every single one. As the camera fades on the sunset and the roar of bikes echoes into the distance, one truth remains: kindness doesn't need wings to fly. Sometimes it just needs wheels.